Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are grabbing the sources and really focusing in on YouTube automations, a term you hear a lot, often kind of misunderstood, I think. We're not talking about becoming a personality here. This is about the specific science, really, of making income with faceless content and, crucially, with minimal time needed from you.
That's exactly right. Our goal today is to cut through the noise, and distill the actual strategies. How do you build these automated channels, and how do you point them squarely at the highest revenue markets out there? It's more business strategy than creative filmmaking.
Right. And there's a very specific promise we found in the sources, a really compelling one we need to unpack. It's this idea that a complete beginner, starting from scratch, can genuinely aim for, what was it, $500 to $2,000 per month.
That's the target, yeah. And the other key part is how spending less than 1 hour a day on it and hitting that income level within about 120 days. That's the goalpost we're looking at from the sources.
Okay, so let's define it clearly then. What is YouTube automation in this context?
So fundamentally, it's setting up a system. You create content, maybe like top 10 luxury hotels or something. But the key is the channel owner. They're never on screen. They don't use their own voice. It boils down to managing 4 core bits: getting a script, a voiceover, the visuals, B-roll footage, and of course the thumbnail. The whole point is efficiency using tools, not really artistic expression.
And the sources showed this efficiency worked. They mentioned some case studies, like a history channel.
Yeah, exactly. A pretty, let's say, dry history channel using these exact methods. It apparently hit 100,000 subscribers in only 6 months. And the reported income, total income, was over $100,000 by the end of the first year. So it shows it's not just theory. It's a real scalable thing.
Okay, that definitely sets the stage. So where do we start? What's the absolute foundation according to these sources?
Right. The number one thing, the most critical decision you make, surprisingly, isn't about video quality. It's targeting. You absolutely have to target the US-based audience. The reason, purely economics. It can bring in 10 times more income.
Wait, 10 times? That's a massive difference. Why? Why such a huge jump in what they call RPM, the revenue per mil, just by targeting the US?
It comes down to the advertisers. Simple as that. In the US market, especially for certain topics, the companies buying ads are offering expensive stuff. Think insurance, finance tools, high-end health products, travel packages. They fight harder for those ad slots, bidding up the price. Because, one US customer can be worth a lot over their lifetime.
Okay.
Whereas if your video views are mostly in, say, India or Southeast Asia, the advertisers might be local shops with much smaller budgets. That just flattens the RPM.
Got it. So lock onto that high US RPM. But how? If I'm sitting here outside the US, how do I actually make YouTube show my videos to Americans? Channel settings don't really do it right.
Right. Channel settings are kind of irrelevant for this. The real key, the sort of simple fix, is all about the content's cultural vibe. Doesn't matter where you upload from. You need basically 3 things. 1, language and accent. Clean English, and ideally a pretty clear US accent for the voiceover. You can get that from AI tools or voice actors.
Okay.
2, slang and context. Using words or references that feel natural to a US audience signals you're in the know. And 3, probably most important, topic relevance. Focus on stuff Americans are interested in. Don't make videos about, your local cricket star if you want US views.
That makes total sense.
Sure.
Serve content they actually relate to. Okay, before we get into the how-to,
Yeah.
we should probably tackle those beginner fears the sources mentioned.
Yeah.
The big one seems to be about using AI.
Yeah, absolutely. Myth number 1, people think AI content isn't monetizable or it's against the rules. Fact, it's 100% okay, it's ethical, it's allowed, as long as it follows the existing rules about, reuse content and spam. YouTube isn't really banning the tool, like AI versus a human. It's looking for robotic behavior, like just uploading tons of generic stuff.
So I don't need to worry about getting instantly flagged just for using, say, a text-to-speech voice.
No, not at all. As long as you're following the content policies, which we'll get into the tools themselves, not the issue. And that connects to the second myth, cost.
Ah, yes. Myth number 2. Thinking you need, a huge budget for fancy software right away.
Fact, nope. There are free or very cheap tools for everything. Scripts, voiceovers, visuals, thumbnails. You can start lean. The investment should come after you see some results, not before.
And the last big fear, editing skills.
Right. Myth number 3. You need to be some kind of video editing guru. Fact. Definitely not. This automation model is about clean, efficient assembly. Basic stuff, cutting clips, merging them, adding simple text, maybe captions. You can learn that super fast, maybe an hour tops. The skill required is pretty low.
Okay, good to know. So let's get into the strategy itself. The sources talk about two main pillars for growth. What's the first one?
The first pillar is understanding content type. The sources break it down into three main kinds, and your strategy needs to shift for each one.
Okay, what are they?
First is searchable content. This is stuff people actively type into YouTube search. How to fix X, what is Y? Success here is just about finding a question people ask and giving a clear answer, basically solving a problem.
Makes sense. Then what?
Then you have browsable content. And this is really the engine for these high RPM automation channels. Browsable is the stuff YouTube pushes onto your homepage or suggests as up next. It's not searched for, it's recommended. It works based on the algorithm guessing what you might like, tapping into psychology. So success here is maybe 90% about the packaging, the thumbnail, the title, the hook. It has to grab attention instantly.
It has to seduce the click, as you said.
Okay.
And the third type?
Shorts, YouTube Shorts, totally different game, really. Huge potential for going viral fast, getting subs quickly, but the income, much, much lower. Often like 10 times less RPM than long-form videos, even in the same topic area. So use Shorts maybe to drive traffic to your main videos, but don't expect them to be the main moneymaker in this model.
Got it. Shorts for growth, long form for income. Okay, pillar 2, the mindset. The sources really emphasize this, saying there's a 180-degree difference between being a good editor and a successful channel owner. Now, we just said complex editing isn't needed, but surely some basic editing for, like, keeping people watching is important.
Oh, absolutely. That's a key distinction. You don't need fancy effects, no. But clean, tight editing that keeps the pace up and holds attention, yes, that's crucial. But the point the sources made is that the winning skills aren't technical editing skills. They're strategic. Success comes down to like three things: really getting human psychology, mastering reverse engineering, and understanding the numbers. That's like 80% of it.
Let's stick with the numbers for a sec. RPM and choosing a niche. We know things like online learning, travel, health, cooking, pay well. Why those specifically?
Right, let's take finance. If you're watching a video about investing, the ads aren't for like toothpaste. They're for investment apps, loan services, maybe specialized insurance. Those advertisers pay big bucks for a qualified lead, maybe hundreds, even thousands. Same for health drug companies, supplement brands, insurers. The niche attracts valuable viewers, which attracts high-paying advertisers. That drives up the RPM, whereas, a generic motivation video, it mostly gets brand ads, which pay way less.
Okay, that link between niche, advertiser, and RPM is clear. Now let's talk about actually making videos that get seen. The sources mention this zero view issue for new channels.
Yeah, that's super common. You start a new channel, upload a video, and crickets. 0 views. What's happening is YouTube's algorithm is being cautious. It sees a new channel uploading and wants to figure out, is this a real person or just some bot trying to spam the platform?
So it's like a test. And if you just schedule like 30 videos instantly, you fail the test.
Exactly. Looks robotic.
Right.
So the solution is a warm-up. Before you start uploading your actual content, spend maybe 1 or 2 weeks just using YouTube like a normal person. Watch videos in your niche, like stuff, leave thoughtful comments, subscribe to a few channels, act human. That signals to YouTube, okay, this channel seems legit, and then it's more likely to start showing your videos to people. Don't use schedulers early on. Manual uploads feel more human.
Right, build some trust first.
Right.
Okay, now the core process the sources hammer home. Reverse engineering. They actually say do not use your own intelligence on YouTube, which sounds harsh.
It does sound harsh, but there's a specific meaning here. It means don't rely on your guesses about what might work. Instead, use your intelligence to copy, or rather, reverse engineer what is already proven to work based on data.
But wait, if everyone just copies the top channels, won't things get saturated immediately? How does that work?
Good question. It's not about copying word for word or making exact clones. That would lead to saturation and probably policy issues. It's about copying the successful formula. The topic choice, the way it's packaged, title, thumbnail, the video structure, the hook. You're using their success as a validated template to avoid wasting time on ideas that haven't been proven. Let the data guide you, not your own untested theories.
Okay, so find what works and model it. But who do we model? How do we pick the right competitor to analyze?
The criteria are really specific here. You need channels that blew up recently, like within the last 12 months. And critically, they should have achieved that growth with a relatively low number of videos. If a channel has 100,000 subs but needed 1,000 videos over 5 years, that's slow, not a great model. But if a channel hits 100,000 subs with only, say, 30 videos in under a year, that proves the niche is hot right now and their strategy is working. That's your target blueprint.
Find recent, efficient success.
Ooh.
Got it. And once you have that target, you dissect their Packaging. You said packaging is almost more important than the content itself.
Yeah, for browsable content, absolutely. Think about it. You're scrolling your YouTube feed, you see a thumbnail and title, you have maybe half a second to decide if you click. If that package fails to grab you, the amazing video behind it doesn't matter because you'll never see it. The video's main job is just to deliver on the promise that the title and thumbnail made.
Can you give an example, like the senior health niche you mentioned?
Right. Look at successful videos there. The titles aren't usually technical medical terms. They hit fears directly. Signs you're losing mobility, avoid becoming dependent, foods that harm your memory. They package the information around the viewer's core anxieties and desires. That fear-excitement cycle is what compels the click.
Okay, that makes sense psychologically. How do we get practical about finding these winning formulas? Using tools.
Exactly. You use tools like vidIQ was mentioned in one source to hunt for outliers on your competitor's channel. You're not just looking for their most viewed video ever. You're looking for videos that performed way, way better than their average, like 11 times to 23 times better than their typical view count. And this is crucial. That outlier video must still have high views per hour, VPH right now.
VPH. Views per hour. That tells you if it's currently trending.
Precisely. If a video did great 3 years ago but has 0 VPH today, it's irrelevant now. The trend is dead. But if a video is doing 15x the channel average and has high VPH, that's gold. That's your immediate blueprint. Copy that topic angle, that packaging style.
Find the currently hot outliers. Okay, that's a very actionable tactic.
Yeah.
Let's shift to actually creating the content now, scripts. If we want something that sounds human, how do we use AI smartly?
Yeah, you need to go beyond just a simple prompt. The advanced technique involves using 2 separate ChatGPT threads for each script. Think of it like a mini writing team.
2 threads. How does that work?
Okay, so thread 1 is the writer. You feed it the details from the outlier video you found, the topic, the angle, the key points maybe. It generates the first draft. Then you take that draft over to thread 2, which acts as the reviewer. You specifically instruct the reviewer thread to be critical, focusing on human psychology. Tell it. Critique this script. Does the hook land? Is there enough urgency? Does it address the viewer's likely questions or fears?
Ah, so you're using one AI to critique the other AI's work based on engagement principles.
Exactly. You might get feedback like, it lists symptoms too quickly without building empathy, or the call to action feels weak. You take that feedback, go back to the writer thread, and tell it to revise based on the critique. You iterate a few times. This forces the script to become much more nuanced, more engaging, and crucially ensures it delivers that click confirmation, proving the video is what the title promised within the first, say, 30 to 40 seconds.
That's a really clever way to refine AI output. Much better than just taking the first draft.
Mm.
Okay, what about SEO? Tags, descriptions, keywords, how important are those?
According to the sources for this automation model, almost zero importance. SEO is basically irrelevant. It's presented as a waste of time. Because success relies on the browsable feed, on YouTube suggesting your video, not people searching for it with specific keywords. So all that energy. Pour it into perfecting the packaging and nailing the topic selection based on reverse engineering. That's what gets you impressions and clicks in this game, not spending hours on tags.
Wow, okay. Big time saver if true. Finally, the really critical stuff. Mistakes. What absolutely tanks a channel or gets it demonetized? What are the fatal errors?
Right. Ignoring YouTube's rules is the quickest way to fail. Number 1, fair use. You have to understand this, especially for faceless channels using B-roll. You must add significant unique value. Usually that's through your scripted commentary, the educational angle, the narrative you build, just grabbing stock clips, slapping an AI voice on top with 0 original insight or structure. That's considered reused content, and yeah, that will get you demonetized fast.
So the value add is primarily in the script, the information, the structure, delivered by the voiceover.
Precisely. The transformation comes from the content of the script. Second big mistake. Timing your exit. Don't quit after just 2 or 3 videos. That's way too early. The algorithm barely knows you exist. But also, don't just keep churning out videos endlessly if nothing is working. If you're at, say, 40 videos and none of them are getting traction, no decent VPH anywhere, you need to stop and fundamentally rethink your strategy, niche, packaging, competitors. Don't just double down on failure.
Makes sense. Don't quit too soon, but don't be stubborn either.
Yeah.
Adapt. And the third mistake.
It loops back to what we said earlier. The final fatal mistake is being over-intelligent, or maybe trying to be too original. You can't afford to operate based on your own hunches or what you think is cool or interesting on YouTube. Success in this specific model is purely about analyzing the data, the numbers, the VPH, the competitor blueprints, and rigorously sticking to what's proven to work right now. Follow the science, not your gut.
Okay, this has been a really thorough breakdown. It paints YouTube automation not as some magic button, but as a specific business system. It rewards discipline, strategic thinking, that reverse engineering approach, especially for chasing that high US RPM. It really is a science, isn't it? Not gambling.
Exactly. It requires skill and strategy.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the final thought, really a question for anyone listening who's considering this. Thinking about those high RPM niches, health, finance, travel, maybe cooking, online skills, what tiny specific personal advantage do you have? Is it a skill you already possess related to one of those? A deep interest? Maybe access to some unique information or resource? You need to identify your fair advantage. What gives you a slight edge in tackling a specific niche within this model? Nailing that down before you start is crucial.
Find your unfair edge. That's a powerful place to start.
Excellent. Well, thank you for taking this deep dive into the sources with us today. Really insightful.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you next time on the